everyone, and welcome to this very special environmental science and sustainability session with us here today online. My name is Amy. I am part of the team here at the School of Social and Environmental Sustainability, and I'm joined here today with Dr. Michael Muir, who is one of our program directors for the Environmental Science and Sustainability program. And we're also joined with Priya, who is a current student on the program, who's going to be telling us so much more about her experiences here at the school and in Dumfries. Hi both, thank you so much for joining us today. It's brilliant to have you here. We're going to just dive straight in, I think. And Michael, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit more about this really exciting programme here at the Dumfries campus. So without further ado, I will let you take it away.
Thank you very much. That's excellent. And thank you for a great introduction, Amy. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here today to give an introduction to the Environmental Science and Sustainability programme. So my name is Dr. Michael Muir. I'm the co-director of the Environmental Science and Sustainability programme. And as Amy just mentioned, today I'm going to give an introduction to the programme and explain what you can expect from studying environmental science and sustainability with us. So this will include a bit about the structure of the programme, the core lecturing team, details of some specific aspects of the programme, and the kinds of employment opportunities available to our graduates. So the Environmental Science and Sustainability programme is a 4-year Bachelor of Science with Honours degree programme with 2 teaching semesters each year. And the programme is taught from the University of Glasgow's School of Social and Environmental Sustainability in Dumfries, which is in southwest Scotland. And we teach the degree programme from our rural campus set in the parkland of the Crichton estate. And you can see the image on screen there, an example of the lovely green parkland surrounding our buildings. And in fact, our local environment is a real asset to our programme, as we're situated in the heart of rural Scotland with easy access to a broad range of natural habitats such as woodland, peatlands, moorland, salt marsh, rivers, lochs and coastline, most of which I can actually see out of my window from my office here, as well as rural industries such as forestry, agriculture and renewable energy. And these are all within a short distance and often within walking distance from our campus. We like to make the most of this setting and these local environmental assets by incorporating many field trips and site visits into our teaching to give students the opportunity to gain hands-on experience in many different environmental settings, linking practical skills with core theoretical concepts and global environmental policy and action, as embodied by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which you can also see on the screen. So we have a strong focus on practical and experience-driven learning, which incorporates a broad spectrum of critical sustainability issues of global relevance and importance. So I'll come back to discuss our campus and where you'll actually do your learning as part of our degree programme a bit later. But first, I'll introduce some key programme information. So, as I mentioned, Environmental Science and Sustainability is a 4-year Bachelor of Science with Honours degree programme based at the University of Glasgow campus in Dumfries. And this coming year, the orientation week is from the 15th of September, and this marks the start of the undergraduate semester. And from the beginning of semester, there's 2 11-week teaching semesters, with the first running from September to December and the second from January to the end of March, with a short exam period at the end of each. So this is how the teaching is fit into the academic year within the 4 years of your programme. And an important thing to mention is that the Environmental Science and Sustainability programme is accredited by the Institution of Environmental Sciences, and it's accredited by their Community for Environmental Disciplines in Higher Education. And this provides a professional accreditation scheme for honours and master's programmes in higher education institutions like ours. So this means that our programme has been externally accredited by the IES to verify that we are delivering high quality teaching of relevant material to equip our students with the tools needed to meet complex global environmental challenges. And there's also a benefit to students because the IES accreditation provides the benefit of free membership for our students, giving students access to IES resources and training opportunities such as seminars, jobs information, career planning, and various other resources. And so these are all relevant to developing a career in the environmental sciences. So we're very pleased that our students have access to these resources. So I'm now going to carry on by answering some of the key questions you might have about our program. And the first of those is, where will I study? Well, I've already touched on this slightly. So we are based in Dumfries, in a rural location with easy access to the countryside in southwest Scotland. But we're also connected to the town of Dumfries, which is within easy walking and cycling distance of our campus. And Dumfries is a thriving town of around 40,000 people. So it has everything you would expect to find in a busy town, giving us the benefit of both the urban and rural setting within very short distance to our campus. And the town, as you can see in this image here, is built on the banks of the River Nith, which goes all the way through our region from the southern uplands to the Solway coast, which is only around 10 to 15 minutes away by car or bus. But it's not just about being on campus, and a key aspect of our program are the field trips and practical experiences which allow our students to experience working in a range of diverse environmental settings. So examples include monitoring vegetation change on a hillside in the Outer Hebrides. We had very good weather for that trip in that year, as you can see from the lovely sunshine. To investigating river quality by monitoring freshwater invertebrates in local rivers using a kick sampling methodology, to collecting and analysing an 8-metre deep peat core to learn about the climate in the past. And you can see the peat core in the image on the right-hand side there at the bottom of the picture. And that is with a trip with our first-year students to a local peatland called Kirkconnell Flow. So we make sure that we get out and about as much as possible to give students a great experience to visit different parts of the environment. And as well as going outside to do practical work, we also have our environmental laboratory, which is set up for the analysis of a wide range of environmental samples, such as soil, water, plants, and invertebrates, using environmental chemistry and biology techniques. So I like to spend quite a lot of time in the lab myself with my background in environmental chemistry. And students get to use the lab as part of taught classes in first to third year, such as the image you can see there, and also had the opportunity to conduct practical lab or field work as part of their fourth year research dissertation. So the lab classes feature early on and throughout the course to build practical analysis skills which students can then apply in their own research in their fourth year. Okay, moving on with the questions, and we'll next consider, who will I meet as part of the Environmental Science and Sustainability Programme? Well, you can see on the slide there your core teaching team, and firstly, important people to introduce are myself. I've already introduced myself, but that's okay, and also my colleague Dr. Natalie Weldon, because we are the co-directors of the Environmental Science and Sustainability Programme. So we have overall oversight of the program, but of course we're supported by a very friendly team, and our teaching team has a really vast range of experience and expertise in teaching and research in environmental subjects. And you'll get to hear from all our colleagues throughout your degree program. So I've just included a little word cloud to kind of summarize some of the topics and fields that your lecturers are doing their research into, and it's things like marine biology, sustainable energy, systems dynamics modeling, ecosystem restoration, soil analysis, ecology, water resource analysis, earth system science, microplastics, pollution and chemical pollution of the environment, environmental education, nature-based solutions. I don't really need to read them all. I'm just getting carried away because it is so many. Okay, so it's just to give the point that despite being a fairly small team, we cover a really broad range of expertise. And I think that gives students a really excellent opportunity to hear from a variety of experts in the field to really focus on the subjects that they are interested in. And just to highlight that further, all the lecturers are experts in their field and are actively undertaking cutting-edge research in the environmental sciences. So I just decided to give some recent examples of publications and books from within the team there. Just to highlight that you will be taught by leading experts, giving you up-to-date insights and into the developments within environmental science and sustainability. But it's not just about the lecturing team. We also have excellent connections with organizations at local to global scales, and you'll hear from some of these within your studies. So examples include conservation charities such as the Wildfowl and Wetland Trust and the Borders Forest Trust. Then there's government organizations and people involved with environmental policy, such as SEPA and Nature Scott. And then we have other organizations who also influence environmental policy at local to global scales, such as Galloway and Southern UNESCO Biosphere and the UN Environment Group. So you can see we've got a really diverse range of organizations which feed into our degree program. And this gives students a fantastic opportunity to hear from different voices within the field. Okay, so I'm now going to just give a brief introduction to the topics and the structure of learning within the degree program. And firstly, in year one, you can see the core courses on the slide there. Year one aims to give students a broad background and introductory information to introduce key theories and critical concepts in environmental sustainability to ensure everyone has a strong understanding of fundamental ideas, which they can then build on in future years. So this includes introduction to global environmental issues, where critical issues within environmental science globally are focused on, such as pollution, water resources, and energy. And we look at some of the issues around those really rather big topics. So it's just a brief introduction. And then we also have Earth System Science, which is looking at the linkages and the processes between the environmental spheres of the atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and lithosphere. So we're looking at some of the processes that are going on currently and how they've been affected and how they've changed over time and been influenced by human activities. Semester 2 in year 1, you look at water, natural hazards and resilience, and energy, waste and pollution, options for sustainability. So you can see that in level 1, we get this broad background to give an introduction to lots of key theories and information in environmental science and sustainability. You also take optional courses, and I'll just come back to those in a little bit later in a couple of slides' time. So by the time we get to level 2, students are starting to develop as researchers and develop more key skills in experimental design and critical analysis. And these are the skills which are required to investigate and understand the environment in more detail. So the core courses include research methods for environmental scientists, where we start to look at experimental design and how we can investigate environmental processes. Biodiversity, ecology and ecosystems, looking at the interactions between the living part of the planet. In semester 2, we have introduction to GIS, which are geographical information systems. So looking at satellite remote sensing, for example, and mapping-based approaches to understand the environment. And then also terrestrial environment, pollutants and processes, looking at practical applications and analysis of environmental compartments in the terrestrial environment. And as I mentioned, at levels 1 and 2, you get some options, okay? And the optional courses give our students a range of opportunities to expand their learning beyond the core environmental science and sustainability degree program. So the optional courses are drawn from other courses or other programs, that we teach on campus. And so options include Introduction to Sustainable Development from our Global Sustainable Development Program. And then there are opportunities to learn languages like Spanish and French for beginners. And then we have some other courses as well, looking at history, so discovering Scotland's past, and philosophy, so how we understand the world, and also environmental communication in the perspectives on the environment course. So there's a nice range of optional courses which really support the learning, the core learning in the environmental science and sustainability program. So after levels 1 and 2, you move on to level 3, where we get some more specific courses. So we're starting to get more focused as we go through the years. And the taught courses include applied ecology and conservation, aquatic environment, processes, monitoring and management, and rural tourism and stewardship. So looking at some specific topics in more detail. And then in semester 2, a really important aspect and really valuable aspect of our degree program is that you have the opportunity to do a placement, which could be at home or abroad, or if you don't want to do a placement, then you can do a dissertation option as well. And the placement is a really exciting opportunity for our students. And in previous years, students have really enjoyed their placements, and they've done a real diverse range of activities with different groups all over the world. So it could be with environmental consultants in Scotland, like SAP Ecology and Environmental, or Natural Power, who are a renewable energy provider based in Galloway, or conservation organisations like the Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust. So these are some Scottish examples, but we've also had students go into all sorts of places around the world, including Indonesia, which was a project related to sea turtles, Greece, the Archipelagos Institute of Marine Conservation, also a turtle conservation project. We've got students who have gone to Zurich to work with the World Glacier Monitoring Service in Switzerland, to Sri Lanka, so Japan, Canada, Iceland, so various ones that are not even listed, but we've had lots of opportunities for really exciting placements for our students. And these are really valuable. It gives students the chance to build work experience and to gain skills which employers really value, and to work within a professional setting. And in fact, many of our students have gone on to actually work with the organizations they do their placement with. So they've gone on to employment after their placement as well. So it's a really valuable experience as part of our degree program. So after level 3, we get into level 4, and this is where, as well as some core courses, such as environmental policy and management, and the environmental field course, which is a really exciting opportunity at the start of term, where we take all our students off to the Isle of Harris for 10 days in the remote Hebrides of northwest Scotland. After these courses, students also get to grips with a detailed research project in their environmental stewardship project. So the 4th year, I think, is a really fun year with the big field course, taking students off to visit a really exciting and remote area of Scotland, and then getting the opportunity to really get to grips with a specific topic and undertaking their own research on an environmental and science and sustainability subject. And it could be something practical related to field work and lab work, or it could be something which is to do with policy and is perhaps more desk-based, or a whole range of things. So by the time students get to 4th year, they've really had a chance to explore all the environmental science and sustainability options available and start to focus on a topic which really interests them. And that is why the dissertation is a really excellent opportunity at that point to conduct some detailed research. So hopefully you can see from this brief overview of the program that what the things that make up environmental science and sustainability are really parts of different subjects, and it's a real melting pot and meeting point of different topics. So we have aspects of geography, looking at the landscape and land management, society, considering policy and sustainability, biology, looking at ecology and habitat, earth science, so things like environmental chemistry and soil processes. All of these things meet in environmental science and sustainability. So it makes it a really interesting topic full of diversity, and it allows students to really learn what kind of subjects are available and start to specialize in their particular interests throughout the degree program. And of course, to ensure that our students are getting the most out of their degree program, we have assessments to help them consolidate their learning. And just this slide is just to show the variety of assessments that are included within the program. So it's not all just exams or written essays. We actually have such a wide range of assessments, including reports. So we do scientific reports, but also group work. So you get to work together to do presentations or written work. Data analysis, so understanding how to manipulate and analyze and visualize data. Giving presentations, doing posters, speed talks, journals and learning diaries, research proposals, infographics, recorded poster presentations also. There's practical skills, which are assessed via lab work and lab reports. So it's quite a variety of assessment methods that we use, which allows students to really demonstrate their learning in many different ways. And of course, the an important reason that you might want to come and study this program, it's not all just for fun, although I think it is fun. You might want to be considering where you might go next after your studies and after your degree program. So what employment opportunities are available? And our graduates have gone on to a wide range of different jobs and careers. And this could include local authorities, so planning and environment departments. We've got conservation organizations around the world, environmental consultancies, so businesses which are doing environmental analysis to help with sustainable development projects, ecological consultancies similarly. Then we have fisheries trusts, energy providers, and also government organisations such as NatureScot and the Scottish Environmental Protection Agency. So there's a real wide variety of employment opportunities available. And we really try to build these core and key employability skills that employers look for by focusing on practical opportunities for our students and give the students the opportunity to build experience and have demonstrable experience in key areas that employers look for. So hopefully that's been a helpful introduction to the Environmental Science and Sustainability program. Thank you for your attention, and I'll be happy to discuss the program with you further and answer any questions that you might have. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Michael. Such brilliant information there. I'm sure we've answered so many questions about this amazing program. So thank you. I'm going to bring Priya and just to join us just now. Hi, Priya. We have so many questions already been sent in. If you have any questions for us, please do just use the comment section. We'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can. We are happy to answer any questions you might have about the programme, about student life here in Dumfries, about University of Glasgow as well. It's no problem. Please just use the comment section. And of course, you can find out lots more information about our programmes, our campus, everything else at glasgow.ac.uk/Dumfries. But for now, let's answer some of these questions. We've got lots here, so let's dive in with our first one here. Priya, this one is for you. Have you had any opportunities to do a work placement? So I wonder, could you tell us a little bit more, introduce yourself a little bit and tell us about your experience in the programme so far. And then could you tell us, have you had any opportunities to do a work placement?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Amy. Hello, everyone. I'm Priya. I'm a third-year student of the University of Glasgow's Environmental Science and Sustainability course. My experience so far with the course is it just has been so much fun. It's such a fun learning experience. I've definitely, have definitely expanded so much my knowledge on the core environmental sciences, and it's definitely, as you know, an important subject to be knowledgeable about in the world right now. So yes, it's been an overall fun experience, such a fun experience, while we learned in forms of theory and practical work as well during our courses. Like every semester we had, like for every subject we had some sort of field trip. So I think it's very important in when you're studying environmental science to have theory as well as like practical knowledge, because you're going to be applying that and using those skills at some point in your careers and as you go further from uni. So our course really gave me opportunities to do that, which I liked very much, and I think I can say the same for all of my classmates and friends as well. Have I had an opportunity to do a work placement? Yes. Just as Michael was explaining earlier, as part of your third year, you get to do either a dissertation or a placement. And I chose to do a placement to get some work experience, see what it's like, to work in, like as part of an organization once I graduate from uni. I worked at the Nith Catchment Fishery Trust in Aldgirth. So my kind of work included doing aquatic invertebrate surveys and tree planting, and I've learned some admin work as well. I admin work around the office, how to enter specific data in databases, conducting like water surveying and sampling of waters. So it was all very fun. Definitely gave me skills that employers look for
Yeah.
when I go on to work.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that's been your experience as well. And I have heard a rumor that you're a bit of a tree planting pro now after your placement. How many trees do you reckon you've planted?
I think it should be around 1,000 maybe. And I worked there for 2 months, so maybe like in total 1,000. Well, it wasn't just me. I had me and 4 other members of the team. So all of us together, we were able to plant those many. So I think it's a good amount of trees.
That is an incredible effort. Well done, you. That's fantastic. And as you say, the skills that you're building up that are really going to help you in the graduate market and when you go on to look at careers and jobs, it's so important. So I'm so glad that that's been your experience. And actually it gives me excuse as well to highlight our careers pages that we have at our school. So we actually have bespoke careers pages for all of our programs. And so for the Environmental Science and Sustainability Programme, you can find it at the link on screen, which is glasgow.ac.uk/schools/SES/undergraduate/careers. And on there, you can find stories from alumni telling you about the jobs they've gone on to do. We've got some great stories from Andrew and Cart, who both tell us about what they've gone on to do. They actually came back to the campus for a visit and a guest lecture, which was fantastic. You've also got examples of different careers, so live job postings that you can see right now, expecting salaries, working timelines, all that kind of thing, how to get into these jobs. Loads and loads of advice on our web pages. So please do, if you're interested in our programme, have a little look at that web page and find out a lot more about all these wonderful employability skills that you can gain through this programme. But Priya, that's fantastic. I'm so glad that's been your experience. Thank you so much for sharing. And we have another question here, which is, what is fieldwork like with classes? How often are you in the field? Now, we've touched on this quite a lot already, but I think it's really important because, as you've said, you're out pretty much every course has got some form of field work. So from your experience, how would you describe a typical day out in the field with your class?
Well, we did different kinds of field work for different courses. In first year for the Earth System Science course, that's a field trip I remember very well, just because it was one of the very first ones. We went to Kirkconnell Flow, and we had to survey a peat core, sample it and studied how vegetation and everything was, soil profile was a couple 50 years ago or something like that. So I did things like that, and also aquatic invertebrate surveying. We went to Sankar, and we learned how to do kick sampling and collect aquatic invertebrates and how to survey them, and many things like that. And also habitat surveys, where that we had opportunities. We were given opportunities to do our own research, independent field work as well. For habitat surveying, we each picked a certain place or a habitat to go to. Me and my friend, for example, we picked maybe forest, and we would have to do a survey of that. Different kinds of field work. And how often I'm in the field, I think, just like I said, every course we had some sort of field work. We do some stuff we did in our own teaching garden on campus. Sometimes we go to places as close as the teaching garden on campus, and sometimes we go out of Dumfries. But the campus being in Dumfries is very beneficial, seeing how easily accessible such nature is from here.
Oh, that's amazing. That sounds fantastic. And I suppose, I mean, Michael, I know from our perspective, it's really important for our students to get that whole process, when we're in classes and, our students are the ones who are out in the field gathering the samples or the data. We then bring it back to the lab, for example. We write up the reports, we get them to do all of that. I just wondered if you had anything to share on the importance of that, or, why we do that.
Absolutely, yeah, no, and it's really great to hear your feedback, Priya, because this is why we're doing these things. It's to be enjoyable and to be engaging, but also to give those valuable employability skills. So we've worked with employers such as the NITH Trust, actually. So it's great that you had a really successful placement with them, and we've spoken to them and found out what kind of core skills are required and what's important, and that's what we're trying to teach. So, as you say, Amy, we try and do the whole process, and the research methods for environmental scientists course is a good example of that, where we go to support students from the very outset of a mini research project, planning sample collection, to then go out and collect some samples and then take those soil samples back to the lab, prepare them and analyze them. You're generating some data from the soil samples about loss and ignition, so the amount of organic matter and the amount of moisture content, and then analyzing the data. So how do we understand the samples once we've analyzed them in the lab? What do the numbers mean? What is it telling us? And then taking that data, doing some analysis, and writing a report about it. So as you say, it's every single stage. Yeah. And in that course, we're it's a level 2 course, so we're walking the students through the process throughout the course of a whole semester. But this is to build up these skills so that later on students can independently carry out these same sorts of methodologies and the same experimental design processes when they come to do their own dissertations as well. So yeah, we're really focusing on these key skills which we've been told by employers are important, and therefore we're training our students up to be a really valuable part of the environmental science workforce. As Priya mentioned, this is a really vital subject in this day and age. It's in the news all the time. So it's a really valuable opportunity for students to gain skills to make a positive difference to the whole planet, in fact.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, I love that. Absolutely. It's so true. Thank you so much, both. We have another question here. So Priya, big question. What has been your favorite course so far? Because you've still got another year to go. So far, what has been your favorite course?
This is always such a tricky question to answer because there's quite a few, but I really enjoyed my third year because in our first 2 years, the courses were very broad. Like they gave us, they informed us about all the different kinds of all different fields in environmental science. But in our third year, they were more specific, which I enjoyed as well. It allowed me to explore like my interests. So in my third year, my two most favorite courses were applied ecology and conservation. Nice. We've learned about evolution and evolution theory, conservation theory, and how to conduct different animal surveys, population surveys, and also another favorite course of mine would be aquatic environments, monitoring and processes. I forgot to mention earlier, like one of it's not like a field trip thing or it's not any field work, but it is lab work that we did where we would learn how to determine the age of a fish using the otolith of its fish. So that was very, very fun. That was a good course, learning more about marine environments, which happens to be it's one of my favorite things to learn about is marine environments. And we also did like a practical course in our first year where we went to Isle of Cumbrae, we went to Millport, and we did some marine animal surveys over there as well. So it's quite good.
That sounds amazing. And you've beautifully highlighted as well just how accessible our campus is to so many different land environments and areas for this type of study. And we've got our environmental science lab here on campus, and we've also got our teaching garden that you mentioned. But we're really accessible to most of the UK, to go out and try all these different experiences. So that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Priya. And Michael, I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say here, but what's your favourite course?
Yeah, so it does lead on very neatly from what you were saying, Amy. And actually, Priya, this is one that you will get to experience quite soon, I think. So, I mean, all the courses are my favourite, of course, but we take our students at the beginning of fourth year every year to the environmental field course to the Isle of Harris in the Outer Hebrides. And that is, without fail, every year such a fantastic experience. So students who may not have been very far north in Scotland or into the Highlands or remote locations, we take them from our campus, get on a ferry at Ullapool, we go over to Stornoway, and we spend 10 days on the Isle of Harris. And it is one of the most remote locations in the UK. And while we're there, we're working with the North Harris Trust. So we're actually providing some benefits to the local environment and local community by taking part in environmental and economic projects, such as helping them to plant trees and maintain their ecosystems, and also working on tourism infrastructure like footpaths and controlling invasive species. So quite a wide variety of different tasks, and again, key tasks that our students might do in their future employment as well. But it's in this amazing setting of the Isle of Harris, which is just a breathtaking place to visit. I've been 5 times now, and I'm still looking forward to going again this year. You know, it's a really exciting course, and particularly for students who come from all over the world, I think it's a really great way to introduce a really unique part of Scotland as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that at the end of this summer.
That's so exciting. I cannot wait. I love hearing all the stories and seeing all the pictures and videos when everyone comes back and all geared up then for starting fourth year. And oh, it's my favorite time of year. So I'm looking forward to it too. I wish I could go one day. I'm still trying to wangle an invite. So one day.
Yeah, maybe this year. Why not? Yeah,
why not? Let's try.
If there's space on the minibus, let's go.
Deal. Okay. We have another question here. This one is definitely for you, Priya. So what accommodation do you recommend in Dumfries? So we have 3 halls of accommodation, university accommodation in Dumfries. We have Dumfries Halls, Brook House and Laurie now. So we have lots of options. There's also in private lets as well that you could look into. But Priya, from your experience, did you stay in halls? And if so, what would you recommend?
So yes, I'm in my first year, like when I came here, I stayed in Dumfries Halls. I think that's the accommodation for undergraduate students. It was like predominantly only undergraduates. Now I think there's a few postgraduate students in there as well. But I stayed in Dumfries accommodation. My experience with the accommodation was very, very good. Like it's all en suite rooms, so you get to have, your own private space, and then we have a shared kitchen facility. So that's the only thing we have to share, a kitchen and a living room. So it was nice when we could get together when we all want to get together, and then we have your own private space to do your studying and just have your own alone time as well. The rent prices were pretty good. I think for all the facilities that they provided, I think that I would say that's like a reasonable price. Including your electricity, heating, and like washing and dryer services, all of that, I think that is a pretty reasonable price. But after my first year, I moved out and I've got a private accommodation in the town center. So I think for that, I would suggest if you're living in halls, or if you're not planning to live on the university accommodation, I just suggest start looking as early as possible, because people put up ads on places like Gumtree and Rightmove. My accommodation, my friends actually, they moved. How I found my flat was my friends they moved into a flat, and their landlord was also putting up another flat to rent in a couple of weeks. So I got it that way. So
Nice.
But it's pretty good accommodation available. If you start searching early, there's always people moving out of Dumfries once they finish their courses. So there's flats available every year.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. Thank you so much, Priya. And I think we have time for just one more question here. And that is, could I visit the campus before I start my programme in September? I mean, the answer is a resounding yes. Of course you can. We are open the whole year. You're more than welcome to drop by any time. If you want, you can go onto our website, and I'll share that here. It's glasgow.ac.uk/Dumfries. and you can book a campus tour. It'll either be with myself or be with one of our amazing student ambassadors, just like someone like Priya, or any of the team, who will show you all around the campus and answer any questions you might have. So you're more than welcome to book onto a campus tour. Alongside that, we have a fantastic opportunity here in Dumfries that I'd love to talk about very quickly, and that is our summer residential. So this year, it's on from the 14th to the 16th of May, and applications are open until quite late, so there is usually still time to apply. It's a fantastic opportunity, to be honest, because you can come and live with us here in Dumfries for 3 days, and the university will pay for the accommodation, for your meals and everything. The only thing we expect you guys to sort out is your travel to and from Dumfries at the beginning and the end. Other than that, all your costs are covered. We do some really fun things like field courses and taster lectures. We do social events like barbecue or movie night, or we go out into the town and have dinner. And it's just a really nice opportunity to anyone holding an offer. So you don't have to accept it. You could have, just be still weighing your options, looking at all your options, and have your offer with us. Totally fine. You're more than welcome to apply and come along. And you can meet, your potential future classmates. You can meet some of our amazing student ambassadors and current students, start getting to know your lecturers and the staff as well, and find your way around the buildings, get to kind of used to the new environment that you'll hopefully be joining in September when you come and start your program with us. It's for all undergraduate offer holders. So environmental science and sustainability, our primary education students, and our global sustainable development students are all welcome to join us for our summer residential from the 14th to the 16th of May. If you're interested, you want to find out more, just head over to glasgow.ac.uk/schools/SES/residential. All the information, application form, contact details, everything is all there. And we'd be delighted to see you. We've run it for a few years now. It's always so much fun. We have a really good time getting to know everyone, and then seeing them again in September is a really fantastic feeling. And you already know everyone. You already know half your classmates, and you already know what you're coming into. So there's no surprises. So if you have any questions about that, you can just let us know and find out more online. So that's all we have time for, I'm afraid. Thank you both so much. Thank you everyone for joining us. If you're watching and you've joined the session today, thank you. Again, please use that comment section. We'll be here for a while, so if you have any questions, we're happy to answer in the comment section. Please just let us know. But Michael, Priya, thank you both so much for joining us today and for sharing all this wonderful information. And I hope, and I'm sure that we've answered a lot of questions that our applicants and offer holders may have. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
We'll say bye for now, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.